Come on, babies.
Now, Bobby Bukaki, this is basically your segment. Do you want me to just list all 12 goddamn picks and we can just
A lot of play. I was floored that they actually drafted 12 fucking people.
unfucking believe
I can't believe it.
12 picks?
They
Or
only have one. They have 89 players right now. They only have one spot left.
let's do this. Let's without getting into detail of all the picks because we'll go through them fairly quickly, especially as we get down to the bottom. But let's just give an overall assessment. An overall, I know Bobby, you kind of already did your opening take. Just an overall thought of how it went down. Raymond, I'll start with you. Go ahead.
They address needs on the defensive side of the ball. Getting a quarterback in Christian Gonzalez, DN linebacker. But yeah, I think you're starting to see that the future, the changing of the guards rather, because there's a lot of old guys on this team, and you're seeing a lot of their replacements coming in, like Jake Andrews. I think the center out of Troy is going to be David Andrews' replacement. So I think you're starting to see that too. The writing's on the wall that these guys aren't going to be around much longer. So they started to stockpile in certain positions like offensive line and corner, stuff like that.
I'll give you my initial take. When I looked at it, I said, I don't really mind it. I didn't really mind the approach. I thought that there were a couple guys that the Christian Gonzalez pick was a nice surprise that they did that. Round 2, Keon White seems like a guy that fits. I didn't even mind the O-line. I think the games are won in the trenches, as a lot of people don't. And then a couple flyers and late. I was like, that's an interesting, good approach. And then I really started to dial in on the fact that they traded up for a fucking kicker.
That's the
Yeah.
And then I started to look at the guys that went in the third round. I think there was like 9 wide receivers or something crazy. And the guys that went around the kicker and the offensive tackles that they could have drafted, but drafted around and didn't do something about. And now it's really started to irk me with what they've done. It's really starting to irk me with how little they really addressed what they really should have done. If they could have gotten one of these guys, one of these tackles, that was available to them, then you might feel differently. Now I even start to second guess the Christian Gonzalez. I know he's supposed to be a stud, but like a cornerback in the first round at 417, what's the track record of that guy working out? Not great. Keon White now is supposed to be like some in between. So you in the second round, you draft a backup in between defensive lineman. It's all starting to make me feel a little bit iffy about the whole fucking thing. And how many offensive linemen are Bobby? You probably know this. Are they still only allowed to play? It's still 5 offensive linemen.
Just the 5.
Got it. So how many are they currently on the roster? 20?
I think they have 16 or 17.
How many fucking offensive linemen do you need on this roster? How
They
many
usually
do you need
carry
to develop?
10 out of 53.
You already have a Winu and Cole Strange as 2 young guys that are coming up. Like,
There's
now
no
you have
chance they
10.
re-sign on Waynu.
It's just like I was not one of these people that said you have to go get the wide receiver that's going to stretch the field or be the playmaker. But and honestly, I have optimism for the wide receivers that they did pick because the expectations are so fucking low. But the more I look at it, the more aggravated I'm getting, frankly. Do you want to add on to your opening take or anything we said, Bobby? Or do you want to go?
Yeah, let me add
through the picks.
Christian Gonzalez athletically can run with Stephon Diggs, can run with Tyreek Hill, can run with any receiver in the league. Athletically, he has every tool to be the number 1 corner that the Patriots want. I got no problem with that pick. Keon White, he's a 285-pound linebacker, 285 defensive end. He's really a lineman, not a linebacker that can play tackle end or stand up. Like, he's a Patriots guy. Like, and he's a solid B player. Like, again, athletically, they have this I forget what it's called, relative athletic score of 0 to 10. 10's like perfect, and he scored like a 9.5. So like athletically, he's 285 pounds and can play 3 positions. So it's like he's a Patriots guy. I'm sure he'll be fine.
That's cool, but it's like that guy and if you want to jump ahead to Marte Mapu, a lot
That's
of
where I
people
have
are
a
liking.
fucking problem.
Okay, so
Oh,
go ahead.
yeah.
I never even heard of this guy. Number one. But again, he's getting relatively positive reviews. That's okay. The main two picks that I have a problem with are Jake Andrews and Marte Mapu. I don't have a problem picking those two guys ahead, defensive players, because one, for the Patriots, I think they'll work. Their scheme fits, especially Christian Gonzalez. And in the second round, if you get someone that's basically going to be a guaranteed defensive starting lineman, I'm okay with it. Well, I look at the players that went after Marte Mapu. 2 picks later, Josh Downs. Another pick after that, Tucker Kraft. And then a few picks after that, Darnell Washington. For me, it would have been one of those 2 tight ends. They don't have a tight end under contract next year. They need a third tight end. Mike Gesicki isn't a tight end. He's a large receiver. Like, he might line up in the tight end position. He's not a tight end. So they just obviously deemed those tight ends as undraftable. And they drafted a linebacker that's 215 pounds that played at Sacramento State with a pec injury. Like, what the fuck?
Hurt
A lot of a little wet out there.
And then they draft a center in the 4th round. I'm not even going to truly have a problem with the kicker because Nick Folk is like 39.
Fuck you. You have a problem with the kicker.
He can't kick off.
Don't trade off. Don't trade up for a kicker.
He can't. They needed a kicker. They need someone that can kick out of the end zone so we don't give up 2 touchdowns
Not
to
in
the Bills.
4th round. Not in the 4th round.
I can't even.
They
had
traded up for
4th
him.
round picks. I can't even say, because at least you know what, that guy's going to play. It's a 4th round pick.
Maybe the Nazi kicker didn't play.
Oh, he was racist and
he was a
kick.
Nazi.
Yeah,
that's racist. You can't say that. Go ahead,
again,
Bobby.
In the 4th
Bobby
round,
keep
they
the
could have
Bukaki
taken
coming.
a flyer on a potential impact player. So we go down. I don't have a problem with the guards. Kayshon Boutte was the number 2 receiver in his high school class.
I was trying to
Number
get that
2.
in before.
Boutte. He's got true potential.
Booty popping everywhere.
Okay, that was a lot.
But
Of
he's an
Bukaki.
asshole.
Let's back it up a little bit. Let's back up to Bukaki a little bit.
You can't poop. You can't.
Keelan White. When I first saw it, I was like, "Yeah, I thought exactly what you did, Bobby. Patriot guy. He's gonna be Is he gonna play this year? Probably not. Dietrich Wise is there.
He'll probably play. He'll play in rotation. He'll probably take
cool.
snaps from
Second round pick for a team that
has.
has fucking needs. Can you not get a guy that's going to play this year in the second round pick?
Well,
Can you not
he
just
will play?
draft
He's
that
not
fucking
going
guy?
to start. Is he like? And the defensive line that they play 60% of the snaps. That's a starting defensive lineman.
He won't play over Dietrich Wise. He won't.
No,
he won't
not
play
right
over
now.
Barmer. He won't play over Wise. He won't play over Guy. He won't play over, obviously, Judon. He won't play over Uche. He's going to be 5th, 6th, 7th on the depth chart on D line as your second round pick. So
you think they're going to move him around now? You think they're going to start moving him around now? Like
they're not going to do shit with him. They're going to fucking basically redshirt him, like every
that
other
athletic,
rookie that they pick.
If he's that athletic, don't you think you can put him in like a linebacker scheme kind of
thing?
thing?
Put him on special teams blocking.
Cool.
The Mapu guy, I was actually positive about the 3rd round pick because of just the shit that I read. I obviously Sacramento State, who knows? But then you start to look at it, go, you already have these fucking guys. You have Kyle Duggar. You have I'm gonna forget his name. Who's the other linebacker safety that they have? Sorry,
Peppers.
Peppers is one of them. Who's the
Duggar,
other one?
Peppers, Phillips.
Thank you. You have this guy, and when they first drafted him, I thought. I saw linebacker and I saw spin. I said, "Oh, they got a playmaking linebacker." Nope, he's just another Peppers or Phillips. He's too small to actually play linebacker. But a lot of people are hiring him. But he's coming off a pec injury. We'll see.
Well, he's like those 2 players are down the line replacements for next year when they don't re-sign some guys.
Right. It's like
that's what they're doing.
And to the point, and I don't mind that approach in the draft. I really don't. And it's what the Patriots have done forever. They've drafted young guys that won't play for a year or two to take over from guys leaving.
But they have glaring holes that they need.
They don't have enough people that can actually step on the field and play next year in a lot of important positions, which is why I really don't have a problem with the offensive line approach in drafting 3 guys, except none of them are tackles.
Yeah, so one of those 2 guards will replace Onwenu next year because there's no chance they resign him. 0.
I wouldn't put it at 0. They've paid Tooney and they played Mason. They pay their guards.
It's true. That is a fair point that they have paid.
They
their
might
guard.
push him to tackle.
Yeah, if they do that, the price tag's gonna be even higher though.
They could do that.
Not if they pay him as a guard.
Yeah, but if he goes out there, it says I'm a right tackle.
No, have you been paying attention to what the Patriots do?
No.
They'll pay him as a guard and move him to tackle.
Yeah.
They also talk about this City Sow.
City
Sow.
Dude, if that's his name, fucking sign me up for this guy. City South.
Yeah, I like it.
Go,
I like
boy.
it. I honestly like all the profiles of all the offensive linemen. They seem like Patriot, like just gritty fucking. The Jake Andrews guys, to your point, Bobby, seems like this dude's gonna be a center for the Patriots for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
dude's got enough equipment on him to rival
like
Patrick Ewing at the end of his year. But they talking about putting Sow at tackle. This Tony Mafi, we'll see. He was cousin to, I don't know if you saw this. He's cousin to Asiasi, Devin Asiasi, the tight end. Right. And they asked him about, so has Asiasi told you anything about the Patriots? And the quote's like, yeah. He said it's cool. A lot of work. Got to come in, get your head on straight. It's like Devin Asiasi was a major fucking failure in this Patriots organization.
Is he still playing in Denver?
I don't think so. He might be.
I think he's out of the league.
No.
Okay, let's move on to your guy, Kayshon Boutte. So he's an asshole, but considered he number one pick last year if he didn't like get in some trouble and get hurt.
After his sophomore year, he would have been a first round or a second round pick. Then he broke his ankle, had a bad recovery, and then Brian Kelly came in and they didn't click. It didn't. It was a bad season for him, whatever it was. So, and coming out of high school, he was the number 2 ranked receiver in the country. So he has actual talent and actual pedigree, and essentially he's healed from his injury. So I like the pick because it's a no risk, high reward. You actually could be getting a player with true talent there. And if he doesn't work, he doesn't work.
What's the backstory on him? Yeah, what's the backstory on him though?
Backstory like what? What part?
You said he was in trouble. Did you say he was in trouble?
No, it wasn't that he was in trouble. Him and the new coaching staff did not get along. Yeah, they did not. So
I didn't know if he was like.
I read some things like he slacked off and shit, like just kind of fucked around a little bit off.
Yeah, they basically.
He doesn't have any law. He doesn't have any legal.
Probably,
he's not Pac-Man Jones. He just kind of.
It was quite entertaining on the McAfee show. I'd like to
add. The other wide receiver, Demario Douglas, little jitterbug at a Liberty, whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. These 2 wide receivers in this part of the draft, I like for the Patriots. For the Patriots.
They're athletes.
They're guys that they're not going to be Jamar Chase this year, obviously. But you look 2-3 years, if the coaching staff stays in place and they can work with them, I would expect production out of them. Somewhere along the line. I just don't know if that's good for what they need right now.
They haven't replaced Aguilar's position. I mean, we swapped out Myers for Smith-Schuster, and Aguilar's out. So essentially, there is one wide receiver spot.
Would that be Tyquan Thornton
available? Well, he was carried on the roster last year with Aguilar. They had 5.
Yeah, but I would expect Tyquan Thornton to take that Aguilar role now.
Oh, I mean the role. Yes, I'm saying that there's like a wide receiver roster spot.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
Yeah,
for sure. And there's plenty of special team slots. So,
well, the team is about 1/3 primarily special teams aces.
Boutte, Barringer, who's the other guy? Oh, this next guy, D-back, Amir Speed, who ironically had like the fastest 40 time in the combine, and his last name Speed. Good for him. And this Isaiah Bolt. They're all special teams guys, the last several picks, which is what you expect at the end of the draft. But this Speed kid's like a special teams expert. Like that's all he did. Isaiah Speed or Amir Speed out of Michigan State. That's his specialty.
Yeah, he's like 6'2", 6'3". He's the fastest player. Yeah, they're I'm sure they're drafting him. He's probably Slater's replacement.
Totally. I watched it. I read an interview of the Patriots staff that interviewed him. He's like, all he talked about was special teams. He's like, I didn't quite get on the field with the defense, but special teams. This is what I'm really about. I'm really about getting down there and picking up punts that are never collecting.
Yeah.
I have 1 tackle in my career because no one takes kickoffs or punts anymore. So there you go. And then Isaiah Bolden, where Jackson State University. That's another decent flyer. People have some Deion Sanders spoke on him. They said that he was a pretty good kid. I like a late round undrafted cornerback for Belichick. We'll see Isaiah Bolden next year in the mix for cornerbacks.
Replace Miles Bryant.
Yeah, the problem with everybody basically up and down this roster outside of Christian Gonzalez is you're looking at 2 or 3 years until we actually see them as a major contributor.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Outside of,
but then Belichick will be gone, and then the new regime will kick all these guys out.
Yeah, they'll all be fired. Mm-hmm. Ray or Bob, do you guys remember the undrafted quarterback that's getting a lot of publicity for the
kid from
Louisville?
Billy Cunningham. Yes, it is. These people sicken me. They sign an undrafted quarterback, and they're calling it a controversy.
No one's putting respect on Zappy's name. How dare
I know.
they?
Well, first of all, Zappy's the starter, so fuck you.
I'm willing to bend to that at this point. After the Celtic game, Zappy showing up with all the receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster did a press conference saying he hasn't thrown with Mac yet. Mac is still silent.
Bad.
We may have a true
Zap Daddy knows how to play the game.
You know, I've said this all along. I'm not above the Zappy fever. I'm Team Mac, Captain Mac. Let's give the kid a shot. He's been dragged through the mud. But if he's not doing the right things, he's not doing the right things. I'm not above telling you I'm wrong. I'm just right now.